super bizarre. For some reason, when I have these in the camp amphitheater, I don't always have the sound coming out. The mic's not working at first, so I think I figured it out. All right, guys. Well, hey, welcome. Friday. Happy Friday, everybody. Whether it's morning or evening, afternoon for you. This is our 5th AMA for our PFP collection that's going to come up. Still plan on minting July. Since there's 777 in the collection, I'm hoping to mint on July 7th at 7 a.m. my time. So, not for sure set in stone, but that's kind of like my thoughts. I've said all along, kind of late summer, midsummer, something like that. So, and I have decided it is going to be with an ETH wallet. So I know we discussed ordinals, we discussed possibly Solana, but it is going to be on ETH, whether that's ETH mainnet or Base or Blast. I'm kind of narrowing it down to either Base or just mainnet. ETH is a lot lower now, so just, we're not a volume-based project. I'm not expecting like a ton of volume from this. It's more of like a utility-based NFT with occasional trading is how I see it. And so I am still leaning towards just keeping all the assets on ETH mainnet. Look at right now. Gas is at 18, right? 18 Gwei. That changes as we know, especially with maybe an ETF for ETH in the near horizon. It could possibly bring gas prices way up. So that's still going to be kind of determined as we get closer. But for now, you can kind of narrow it down to those two. ETH mainnet, which everyone's so used to, or ETH on Base. I kind of want to see how Base continues to grow. It's been around for a long time. Coinbase is hence the name Base. It's been over a year since they've launched, but they're just getting a lot more attention now, especially when gas took off and Blast did so well. But yeah, layer 2s like Optimism, Arbitrum, those have been around for a while. So Base just has a little bit more, I would say, marketing power through Coinbase, and NFT space is starting to adapt to it. But you just have to be careful with all these. They come and go, right? Man, I'm trying to think. What was that one NFT or that one chain that was really popular for NFTs last summer? They took off for a bit, but it kind of faded away, right? And you kind of see that a lot, and it always comes back to ETH. Ordinals, they're a different animal completely, just because it takes so long to broadcast, right? And fees tend to be really high oftentimes as well. I'm not sure if some of you have tried to mint when networks are busy, and then Solana is another one where networks are busy and they just completely fail transactions, and so it's just not super stable for NFTs yet. But Base, I'm not sure if any of you guys have experimented with Base. It's literally like zero gas. So when you're, how many of you guys before, when you mint something, you pay say $30 in gas, and then you want to sell it, and gas goes up even higher because maybe that NFT has a ton of momentum behind it, and then you have to approve the NFT collection. You might have to throw down another $20. So now you're like $50 in the hole, and the NFT may have only costed like $100, right? And so, it's basically 50% fees, which is absolutely ridiculous when you're trying to sell something, right? And so Base solves that. Blast solves that. You're able to grab the NFT for cents. You can approve that collection, same kind of thing, and for free. You can transfer for free. So if you wanted to transfer it out of your minting wallet into your cold wallet, it's free to transfer. And so it saves a lot. I can see the NFT space, moving that direction. But however, I think we have the next few months to decide if that's indeed what's going to happen. So that's just a quick update on what chain we're going to do. It's either going to be ETH mainnet or Base. So the creative process has been going great. As you guys all know, Campfire Constellations Mint has been going on all month. We have until the end of the month to claim. So if you guys haven't claimed, actually today would be a great day for that, right? Gwei's at 16 right now. I think a lot of people claimed their Campfire Constellations Mint for $5 or so. But I don't think I've ever seen anything over 10-15 bucks, even when gas is pretty high. Manifold has a pretty good fee structure where and that's why I've always kept it there, is you're not paying outrageous gas and it's a trustworthy source. But on that same note, we've done most of our mints through Studio Manifold, and this time, with it being a bigger collection and with us pushing marketing and with us bringing in, and I'm going to get into camp listed in a little bit, but I'm likely going to launch it on Magic Eden. So I applied to their launch pad. It's a whole process, so I went through that whole process, and I can't see why we wouldn't get chosen and selected. I know they're really trying to push the ETH narrative on their platform, because as you guys know, they've been kind of Solana based, and then they've introduced ordinals and Poly, and now ETH chain. And so I've always liked Ballistic. Can't hear anything. I think everyone else can. Maybe one thing I did was just disconnect and reconnect. Actually, he can't hear me, so there. So yeah, Magic Eden. I'm hoping to hear an answer from them. They'd be a great partnership to have and a great way to launch and have some exposure. I think they do a good job of kind of marketing their partners. I think they do a great job as far as the launchpad is concerned. We'll likely have a pre-sale, and you're starting to see that more in the NFT space, where you can go in and the guaranteed minters can secure their pre-sale allocation. So if you wanted to mint, let's say 5 of the collection, you can do it before maybe gas is high, or you can find a certain time leading up to mint where you can actually get that pre-sale. Sorry, Ballistic, I'm not sure, man. Maybe somebody can write to him, because I think everyone else can hear as far as I'm concerned. So Launchpad, Magic Eden, we're going to find out very, very soon. Likely not going to do it through Studio Manifold. If Magic Eden for some reason doesn't accept us, we'll go through another platform to get that launched. And for those of you that haven't attended these AMAs in the past, the collection is going to be kind of going back to the OGs in the space, where rarity was really important, where all the traits played a role, and so each of those traits and rarities, and as you guys can kind of see, some of them in the PFP teaser chat, or not chat but channel, those are going to have certain utilities associated with them. So this is definitely being pushed as a utility type NFT. The art is one thing. We're going to get into the art here soon, but I wanted to have an actual reason for you to collect these, and the more you have, the better. And so it kind of goes back to the space back in the day when the art was cool, the traits meant something, the rarity meant something, and as we all know, we have our customized 1-for-1s, and every AC camp holder gets to claim a Campfire Constellations NFT, which has an awesome soundtrack on it, and we're going to reveal Loco's customized PFP today. So not only do you get a cool music NFT, which not too many people have, in my opinion, if you look down the road, if you look, say, 30 years from now, I truly don't think NFTs are going anywhere. These are going to be in alongside one of those first music NFTs ever to exist, and so I think there's some weight there. The fact that there's not a whole lot out there, music NFTs, and then again, it's attached to utility. You can take that NFT and start to fill out that form. So if you go to the new channel, I'm not sure if you guys got a chance to take a look, but if you go to the new channel, the PFP hub. Um, that's a place where you can go to the Google form and we start the creative process. And so we've already started. We had a few guinea pigs in the beginning, which we've completed most of those. And then now we're moving on to the creative process with all these forms that filled out. And your token number means something. So your token number, if you're token number 1, which Loco was gifted that because of his amazing track he put down on that NFT. So we worked on his next, and then next in line. So I'm just going down the line, and I think next in line is Prazi in here. Yeah, so I don't think he's in here, but I think he's number 10, and then we got a number 11, and we move on and on and on, and we go through that list. And so the creative process, obviously the more you can fill out that form, the better. The more ideas you guys can give us, the better. And sometimes, though, you have no clue what you want, right? I mean, this is something new to the space that we're doing, where, we take your likeness, we take your vision, we take maybe your alter ego, we take your creative ideas, and we try to create a PFP that you'd be proud to rock and represent, and maybe it represents you in a special way. And so, or maybe it's just some type of artwork that you like. I mean, you name it. There's so many different ways. I know we have a few that want to add like some sentimental things into their PFP, like some nods to like their family or their kids, or maybe somebody that has passed away. There's ways to incorporate all these special little traits into your PFP, and so that's something to keep in mind. Let me see. I'm just catching up on here. Yeah, Anakil, you'll be coming up soon. I know we've kind of had initial discussions. Yeah, disconnecting. I mean, I had the same issue where you guys couldn't hear me when I first signed in yeah, the stage channel is a little different, but I actually prefer it because you don't have to worry about muting people, so that's why we kind of do it in here. But yeah, you can just disconnect quietly, maybe refresh your, well, they can't hear me, so I don't know why I'm talking to you guys. But maybe you guys can throw those suggestions in the chat. So how does the creative process work? Well, you fill out that Google form, and the initial chat is with myself, and I'm the one that creates the AI images based off of what you guys have suggested in chat. And again, maybe it's something you have no clue. Hey, let's just run with it. And a good start to that is like, hey, well, let's look at your current PFP. If you have no idea, maybe if that's a PFP you really like, maybe we do something in that likeness. And you saw that with Sweden's PFP. And if you guys haven't seen that, it's pretty cool. Go into the PFP teasers chat and you'll see it. But I put a side by side of his old PFP and then the new Alpha Camp's PFP. And so that's possible. If you have no clue, no art, no direction, we can always run with what you just currently have as your current PFP and work with that. And maybe it's something like, I hate my PFP, just do whatever. That's okay too. However, this is a pretty unique experience for you guys, and so I definitely suggest you guys kind of take advantage of that and put some thought into it. And then hopefully we create something that you really, really like. So far, the feedback has been really, really good. And so going back to the process, I'll put together some, maybe some prototypes of the ideas of what you gave me. And I'll usually come back with 3 to 5 different types of images that I came up with based off of what you gave me. And we kind of work with those. And then eventually we find one we like, or maybe there's 3 that you like. I'll just use Loco as an example. We found 3 that he really liked, and we did some edits on them. And that's when it goes to DK, because a lot of AI work, a lot of them come back just really weird, right? Like I think on Loco's, actually I'm just going to show it right now. Here's the comment we'll talk about, but here's Loco's right here. Let me know if you can't see it. I'm going to throw it in chat. Oh yeah, I'm not sharing screen. So here it is in chat. So you can blow it up and see it. Obviously, that's a lot like what he looks like actually in real life. I think you can see it on his SoundCloud. You can see what he actually looks like. So he has like the longer hair, curly hair, and so we put him into a camp environment, kind of like the electric colors with the pinks and kind of like a EDM color scheme, I guess is what you'd call it. The Campfire Cancellations cover is on the record. You can kind of see it there. And so going back to the how the art process works, I kind of came up with the general image, and then I sent it to DK, and I think this guy, correct me if I'm wrong, DK, I think he had like 8 fingers and just a bunch of messed up things that were part of it. And so he does all those color corrections, fixes a lot of them. A lot of the ears are messed up, right? A lot of the hands are messed up, and so he kind of perfects what you see. Yeah, 10 fingers on one hand, no thumb. That's hilarious. So, and then after DK polishes this up, that's when it gets over to Connor, and Connor adds all the cool traits you see there. Like if you really zoom in, you can see the Alpha Camps emblem, the PFP emblem that Connor created. It's on his headphones. I can't remember if this one had it or not, but they can add sunglasses too. I'm not sure if this particular one had sunglasses attached to it, and so and then he adds the no distractions and just kind of like customizes it for us. And so I also like how the constellations in the background and the shooting stars, which kind of ties in back to what we did with the actual NFT artwork. And so pretty cool. I mean, and the coolest thing with these one for ones is they're just so different from each other, right? And I like the fact that if I were to put this next to Sweden's, the only thing that's the same is like the emblems and maybe the Alpha Camps logos in some of these, and that the fact that it's sometimes in like a camp environment. But other than that, the art is completely different and unique to your guys' self, and that's the whole point. I kind of want to stretch the boundaries there of when you see a typical PFP, it's faced the same way, it looks the same. It's just like this cookie cutter type artwork piece where they just add traits to it, right? And in my opinion, that's the really cool thing about AI is, in reality, all of these are one for ones, right? All 777 of them are going to be one for ones. What I mean one for ones for you guys, customized ones, are the ones where we add the traits that are to your likeness, your personality, etc. Right? So I'm really enjoying the art process. I think Connor and DK are as well. So just keep that in mind. Like when I send out, maybe some prototypes to you guys, and you're like, man, I want to throw some sunglasses on there, or man, I want my jacket to be this color instead, or whatever it is. For the most part, we can make it happen. DK and Connor can make that happen on mine. Because the things I'm creative with is putting in the prompts that, kind of incorporate your vision of what this PFP looks like, right? So I'm good at, with the writing and the prompts and trying to figure out the right formula to generate a really cool prototype. DK and Connor take over from there and really personalize it and make it that, one for one that we all hope to have. And so another thing too I'll mention is just it's also new to us as well. And so if you have a perfect, I'll put that in quotes, image and PFP in mind, remember we're using AI, and it's oftentimes impossible to come up with the absolute perfect image that you have in the back of your head. And so be a little bit flexible with that as well, and just know that it's pretty difficult. I mean, I probably generated to get, just to give you guys an idea, to get Locos, I probably had generated 200 different variations to get his. And so there's a lot of work behind it, and be flexible if you're not super happy. I mean, so far everybody's been extremely thrilled with what they've had so far. So, but I know out of the 123, I'm sure we're going to run into some that are kind of like semi-happy or we did our best, etc. I'll also add that AI is no secret, right? So if you go to any of these AI, and if you go to Camp Goodies, there's actually a list that I've posted of a ton of places where you can generate AI art, generative art, and so you can go into the Camp Goodies channel, go to that spreadsheet, and there's tons of them in there, and you can start working on one for yourself, right? So the only thing, the caveat to that is, if you do it on your own, you have to make sure you have a commercial license, right? So if you send me an image, and you're going to need to show proof of that it's the commercial license is it's okay to have, and that usually tends to associate with a paid version, and so you need a paid version usually to have those type of licensing so that we can use it in our collection. So, but maybe you send me something that like, hey, can you generate something similar to this? That's also another route. So you could still stay with the free route and send me some ideas that we can kind of create it into our own. And so just some thoughts there. All right, what else we got here? All right, let's look at a comment. Let me pull up one of the comments. Part of the whole common part too is, you can kind of see a general theme in all of them. If you go into PFP teasers, they tend to be kind of like in a hiking environment, pine tree environment, mountain environment, whether that's they're hiking with a backpacker or whatever it is. They're out. The whole idea is they're out camping. They're out in nature. They're outside, which is, we actually literally have a channel on that. And so just trying to have that kind of vibe, whether they're smiling, serious, male, female, all colors, everything and everything in between, right? So this one was actually kind of, I know DK likes mohawks, so I threw a comment there. So there's a dude with a mohawk camping through the woods, again facing to the right, and so you're going to see, all the images for the most part are facing directly on, semi to the right, or all the way to the right as a profile. But when you're looking through the collection, like we have like this Google Drive that we share all the images and do all our, where all the magic happens, right? But if you scroll through all the commons, you can tell it's an Alpha Camps collection, right? You can tell that it has the same kind of overall look, feel. It's almost kind of like a realistic oil painting kind of thing. I didn't want it too realistic, like sometimes when AI, it gets a little too realistic looking. I kind of wanted like that oil paint feel, and you see that in all these. You'll see some of them that are zoomed in a little bit closer. You'll see some of them that are zoomed out a little bit. Again, that goes back to the whole idea that this is a 777 collection, all one-for-ones. And so there's not a cookie cutter template that we're using for all of them. And so I'm hoping to push the boundaries a little bit with that in this space, and then include a ton of utility on top of all the traits. And so, for instance, like this trait, you're going to see we have a handful, I would say maybe 10 different NFTs, both men and women, that have like the rock and the mohawk, right? And so that would be like the mohawk trait. And it's not going to be one of those things where, like, we'll just use this guy as an example. The traits would probably be just mohawk and probably like, beard or something, right? That there's not going to be, 17 traits that get you super confused about what it's all about, right? So the traits for this one would just literally be common, mohawk, beard kind of thing, right? As opposed to Loco, if you look back up at his, it's going to have a lot more traits. It's a one-for-one. It's customized for him. And the cool thing about it too is, another reason and thinking behind the whole one-for-ones is like, why would Loco ever want to sell this, right? This is a collector's piece, in my opinion. It's something that represents who he is and what he's done for us, right? And so I'm hoping to kind of incorporate that with each of you, so it's not something that you'd ever even be interested in listing. And these will come with extra utility for you guys as well. And so the one-for-ones for you guys, the customized ones for you guys, will carry the most utility out of any other thing in the collection, even the rares. All right. let's show a rare. So you guys have kind of seen, some of the rares have, some of them will have. It's almost like a cross where you have like animal trait ones, um, some like just trippy ones. You kind of saw one of the first rares in there where it kind of looked like lots of pinks and turquoise hues kind of thing. And then aside from that too, I'm throwing in, kind of like crypto Twitter influencers. You saw one, I think I posted Elon on there. I think I posted John Cena on there. So kind of a funny part of that. And then also, I want to incorporate things, music. It's kind of like a personal touch that I like, So some of it is music that I grew up that I loved. Some of it is maybe an actor or athletes, and these tend to be well known. Some of them aren't as much, but most of them tend to be well known, which I think will speak to others out there that enjoy that kind of music. And so I had to do Ice Cube, guys. So here's Ice Cube here. You can kind of see. Obviously, he's got the Raiders. He's got the Alpha Camps, which Connor did a great job. This art didn't have a Raiders logo on there or anything like that. It didn't have the Alpha Camps. And then one thing I started incorporating too, one of my favorite songs is "It Was a Good Day," right? And also I think that's kind of encapsulates what we talk about at Alpha Camps all the time, is like just making sure that it's a good day, right? Regardless of what's happened in the space, what's happened in real life. So that's Ice Cube, Anicule. So I think just putting those small little subtle things like words on a rock. You'll notice some others. You'll see things in the sky. So this is a rare. This is not a customized one. We don't have Ice Cube as a holder. This is not a common, but as you look up in that common, you can kind of tell, like, hey man, those guys are probably in the same place. Ice Cube's probably like more dawn or dusk, but they're probably somewhere in the same place. They're at camp, right? Might be out hiking, whatever it is. So anyway, I'm a big fan of that one. I think Connor and DK did such a great job on that one. So yeah, you'll see some musical artists. You'll see some athletes. You guys already saw Tony Hawk, Shaun White, that we've teased out and shown. But there's a lot more of those to come, and there's going to be a lot more of, like, if you look back on the PFP teaser, you'll see like a bear, you'll see like a Yeti, right? So you'll see those as well. And so I don't expect to hit, because there might be a ton of people that are like, I hate Ice Cube, or I hate Tony Hawk or whatever it is, And so that's why the rares are going to be mixed up a lot with like animal creatures that are kind of like hiking through the forest as well. Yeah, man, that's good stuff, man. I don't really listen to Ice Cube anymore, but I'm not gonna lie, if it comes on the radio, I'm probably gonna turn it up a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I come from the West Coast, so a lot of that, was really really big when I was growing up. Yep, throwback. Gotta represent there. All right, I went through a lot of things there. We're about 30 minutes in. Do you guys have any questions? This is after all AMAs, and so do you guys have any questions regarding the PFP Mint? And I know a lot of these, I put them up on YouTube. I know not everybody can make this time, so even though there's maybe only 8 of us in here, I do see the views, and so I know people are watching these after the fact, and so this is more of like a open forum for whoever's here live to ask questions, and then also for people that can't make it to check it out a little bit later. Yeah, so there's a lot of that, Nico. I'm just going in order. So we went from number 1 to number 10, and then we'll go to 11, and then I don't know what's next. Like probably 20 something. So I check in like each time we finish one. I just go and check to see who's next. And so if number 9, let's say, doesn't fill out their form for like another month or so, then they're not going to be ninth in line, right? They're going to be how many people we've gone through at that point. So yeah, I just take whoever's next in line. And there's been, I think, 70 of the Camp Constellation's mints um, actually claimed. And so what's going to happen there is, because there's 123 available, right? And so there's still, 53 left. So if it did just stop, let's say at 100, I'm going to take those 23 and mint them to the vault. And so we'll have those on hand, and we'll be able to use those for marketing purposes. I mean, I assumed we'd probably be in the 75 to 85 range of how many that will claim. Remember, we have a lot of people that are kind of like lurkers. They hold their pass, but maybe they just wait for the floor price to get where they want, and then they sell. So a lot of those people aren't going to be in tune with what we're doing here, and that's okay. We'll just airdrop those, and we'll be able to use those for marketing purposes, because you got to think of how valuable those will be, right? Those are one-for-ones that are super important. And then also important to note too, when we airdrop these to you guys, you got to have your Camp Constellations NFT in your wallet, right? And so we'll be doing a snapshot, making sure you still kept that, because let's just say, for instance, whoever number 10 is, we spend their time to do their PFP, and they're like, oh, bingo, I'm going to get that airdrop later. Well, no, I mean, we can't just floor that Camp Constellations NFT right after we do the artwork for you, and just expect an airdrop, right? And so the airdrop will occur before mint, during pre-sale, and we'll make sure that Camp Constellations NFT's still in there, and that will be claimed as well. There's going to be a Google sheet that's going to show. Likely next week I'm going to have that up and running, so you'll be able to see which ones have been claimed, right? You see that a lot oftentimes in other projects too, where the token is claimed and it's pretty much exhausted. It's one for one. But to circle back, those 23, let's say, that get airdropped, those are going to be alive and well, right? So whoever gets those from a marketing perspective will be able to claim a one for one and have the highest utility. And so, and then another side of these things, just to play the game, if you have 2 Alpha Camps passes and you were able to claim 2 one for ones, I mean, just wait until marketing starts ramping up a lot. You're likely going to be able to sell that for a decent amount. I'm not saying like 1 ETH or anything, but you might be able to get some coin out of that. All right. Do we have any other questions? So we do. There is a camp listed role in our server now, and so for newbies that join in, and I've already kind of discussed with the camp counselors, if there's some newbies that are at the lake and they start interacting and want to get that camp list, then I'm going to start handing those out, passing those out to people, and that just means they're going to be on the whitelist as we move forward. And I'm going to be starting to partner up with some of our communities too, right? So top tier signals, you're probably going to see some camp listed coming out of there. LFG News, same kind of thing, right? And there's some other communities I've been in touch with as well. Some of them could be, Kenny with Apex. Some of them could be Aaron from Neo. Some of them could be, others that are partnered up with top tier signals. So just keep that in mind. Probably going to offer camp list spots also to the new servers and stacks. I hate to say the S word, but there's new Anarchy, Meanwhile, Gen 1 sub communities that they're going to burn, or basically migrate to a new contract. And those communities are hurt, and so what better way to help hurt people is to offer them some things, right? And so we're likely going to offer that. And then I encourage you guys too, OSYC would be another one, right? I encourage you guys too, if you have some communities that you're very active in and would love to offer some of those camp listed, let me know. Hook me up with their founder, and I'd be more than happy to provide some of those for them. There you go, Olaf. Yeah, Olaf, we did his. We'll probably show his down the road as we move forward into spring and summer. Yeah, his came out really good. And one of the first ones, Olaf, I've worked with you. You're one of the guinea pigs, so I appreciate you volunteering for that. All right, guys, any other questions? Yeah, and I just want to thank Connor and DK too for all their work. I mean, it's a massive project, and when I had first thought about it, I was even thinking more than 1,000 at one point, and then once I started going through some of it and realizing how much work it's going to take, it's going to push us quite a bit, and we're moving along really well. I don't know, DK, Connor, do you guys have an idea of how many we've completed? I want to say, we're close to 500, 400, 300. I don't know. I haven't added them up in a while. I know I number them when I'm sending them. But yeah, it's probably safe to say we're between 300 and 400. So I think we're halfway through. Yeah, because there's going to be 500 commons. We'll see what DK has to say. But yeah, I hope you guys had a good Friday morning. I hope you guys have a great weekend. I am going to throw on some music, so if you guys want to hang out, I'm going to invite the bot in here and just have some literally EDM chill tracks is the name, so I'm going to throw that in here and just kind of work with the music a little low and enjoy the rest of the day. Yeah, I think it's safe to say we're probably halfway there. So, yeah, definitely not halfway completed, but about halfway as far as the initial artwork is concerned. So, all right, guys. Hope you guys have a good rest of the day. I'm just going to go on mute and then invite the bot in here and enjoy.